Hello there everyone, my name is Ramna. Welcome back to my channel. On this channel I talk about books and self-development, so if that's your thing then you're in the right place. And in today's video I'm going to be talking about what to do if you're feeling behind in life. And I think a lot of us can resonate with this. At some point and sometime in our lives we have felt like, dang, like everyone else is doing better than me, or everyone else is doing something greater than me, and here I am in this position, or here I am feeling this way, or here I am doing this thing. In this video I first want to break it down into having a kind of talk about that, like talk about like feeling behind and my own experience with that and how I've dealt with that. In the second half of the video I want to talk about some of the tips and advice that can hopefully help you when you're feeling like you are behind in life or that you're not doing as well. So I think the no-brainer to this with, you know, feeling behind in life is definitely with just social media. I mean, again, like I feel like I mention this all the time, but it's like that social media impacts all of our lives, you know, whether you're an influencer or not. Like you're on it one way or another, and you are exposed to a lot of people, exposed to a lot of different lifestyles that people live, and it can sometimes be very hard to watch somebody else do something that you really want to do, or something that you've been really working hard for, and they just get it like that. It seems as though it has happened effortlessly for them, and you're still here, you know, working hard, struggling, trying to get to that place. You know, I think even if we didn't have social media, people still would be feeling behind in life. The timeline, you know, that we all have is very different, but again, with, you know, social media, and even when you talk to other people, sometimes it can feel like everyone else is just caught up with this one thing, and you're like the only one that's like not on that train, that's not up to par with that. Now I'm at an age where it's like everybody's like in completely different, you know, trajectories of life. Like some people may be dropping out of college and starting a business, you know, some people are just like getting married, some people are already having a job, or some people are still doing school but like are way further on, you know. It's like everyone is in such different positions and just different paths that everyone's on, so it kind of feels like, oh dang, like where should I be at, like what should I do. Another factor with feeling behind in life is just putting your value in the wrong place. To be like, oh, this person has like the most expensive whatever, and they have all these material things, and they have this and that and this and that, but it's like, do you really need all those things to be happy? I mean, it would be nice definitely to have some of them, but do you really need everything? So I think that's another thing that I've realized that can sometimes make you feel like you're behind in life, is because you have your values in the wrong places, in the places that really, like in the grand scheme of things, don't matter at the end of, like, you know, your life. Like having all the luxury things, like you're not going to take it with you to the grave. And then on top of that, right, there's this kind of notion that life has certain like deadlines that we need to meet. So it's like, by age 20 you should be doing this, and by age 30 you should be living like this, and by age 40 you should be living like this, by age 50 you should be like this. And there's certain ages that have certain like deadlines, things that need to be done by those ages, and if not, like you're doomed, like that's it, like it's over for you, like you've literally failed in life. I just don't agree with that at all. And even those terminologies too, right? Like things like, oh, late bloomer or early bloomer or this and that. I feel like all of those are like placing like us in like categories of like, you've developed like earlier on, which is like usually like seen as like most of the time a great thing, and then it's like, oh, you developed later on, which is like a bad thing too, on top of like having the ages as like ages set as deadlines, like by age 20 this, 30 that. It's like all of this can really just make it feel worse and make you feel worse as a person, because it's like, if you're not at that stage by that age, or if you're not like in a certain place, or if you're like reaching a certain place in your life at a later age, it's like seen as like bad and whatnot. And again, it just like it doesn't help, you know, and it just again further propels the feeling of being behind. And I remember watching this one video, I can't remember who was saying it, but they were saying like the ironic part of saying like feeling behind in life is that like when it's your life, you're never really behind anyone else, because saying that you're behind in life, translating that into saying that like you're following somebody else, like you're following somebody else's path, and like because you're not where they're at, therefore you're behind. But if you're living your life, you're not behind anybody, like you're in the forefront of your own life. That gave me a lot of perspective into thinking, oh, like am I trying to like why am I trying to be at a place where somebody else is not knowing their struggles or not knowing their circumstances or not knowing the efforts that they had to give. You know, when I have my own life and I can be the driver of that, and with that I'm like on time with it and not gonna be behind because nobody's in front of me. The tips and the advice, I feel like I've given some of the advice earlier on in the discussion part. I couldn't help it, like it's just a part of me, you know. But one of the things I wanted to mention was again, that we're all different people. You know, we all have different interests, we all have different goals and different things that we want to attain. Like, not everybody wants to be a millionaire, you know, not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, not everyone wants to be a doctor, you know, and that's fine. And because we have these different interests and these different gravitation towards different things, well, all of our lives are obviously going to look different, you know. Like, we're not all going to be living the same life or wanting to achieve the same thing. Guys, who you are as a person and what your goals are, and just focus on that. And if there's anybody in your life or anyone you see on social media who is emulating what you want to achieve, then follow them. There's no reason to really compare somebody who's not living the life that you don't want to live. So as I grow up more and as I like talk to more people and look at, you know, more things on social media, it's come really to my attention, and I've really come to like understand that like you can never be too old to do anything. Like, there are literally so many people who have made so much money at like a later stage in their life and like are fine and well, or there's so many people who have got married and had kids at a later stage in their life. I mean, even taking this back to faith as a Muslim, you know, there was, I believe, is it Zachariah, who had a child at a very later stage in life, you know. And I mean, even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, you know, he received revelation at a later stage in his life. Just because you're young and you're not achieving something now doesn't mean that you're gonna lose out on the opportunity later on as you get older, you know. So I think that's another important thing to remember, is that like, you know, we all have different points in our lives where we will have success. It doesn't necessarily all have to be like when we're young, because sometimes it could be better when we're older and more mature and can handle that success, rather than being young and immature and not knowing how to handle it. It's not always necessary like that younger is, you know, better, you know, in whatever way you want to interpret that, because sometimes waiting on later on in life, or sometimes getting things later on in life, can be a bit better and more rewarding than it is when you're younger, you know. Not negating that like doing things younger is good. I mean, it is if you're able to, and if you're at that stage, you know, do what you can. The last point that I wanted to make is that, you know, just remember that everything happens for a reason. You are at the stage in your life for a reason. This can be really hard, and even as I'm telling you this, it's hard for me to even, you know, really take it in. But it's so easy to feel like you are in the same situation over and over again, and you just feel like it's gonna last forever, but it's not. Wherever you are and state that you're in is, remember, temporary. Things are temporary, you know, the good is temporary and the bad is temporary. So, you know, take what you will, and it's important to just remember that you should enjoy whatever state that you're in, even if it's not the most desirable state. Try to make the best out of it in whatever way you can, whether it's as small as just having your favorite, I don't know, cup of like coffee, or having your favorite type of food, or reading your favorite type of book, or watching your favorite show. Like, just make the most out of what you got, and just know that your situation will change and it will get better. It will take time, and it may like make your patience run out. Trust me, I know, but I'm saying this as a reminder to myself first, because I know that sometimes I can get really impatient and just start making myself way more anxious than I need to, and overwhelm myself. But it's just a matter of knowing that whatever situation you're in is temporary. Be patient with yourself. Yeah. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gave you some comfort and ease knowing that you're not alone in this. And if you have any other tips to help anyone else out, please write them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.